just 2 days from now, I will be leaving for Paris. And by the time that you watch this video, I will be on my way back home from Paris again. So I've been working ahead this week and filmed 2 videos for you. It also means that today's video is going to be a little bit different. I'm going to get ready for Paris, dye my hair, cut my hair, pack, and answer a lot of questions from you guys. So a very cozy Q&A daily vlog, and I hope you're going to enjoy it. First of all, it's time to dye my hair with henna. This is the Hen Color Paris in Copper, and it leads up perfectly to the first question of the day. It is a personal question from Cape Town. What is your natural hair color? My natural hair color is red. It's not as red as this, it's more of a like strawberry blonde. But during Corona I got really bored and I decided I wanted a red color that was more like pow. And since then it's just been impossible for me to grow out my natural hair color. The thing with henna is that you can't dye with chemicals over it, so your options are very limited when it comes to changing back. So I am stuck with henna. We're going to dye it up. I have some water heating up here. We need my bowl. Fun fact, the only plastic bowl I have in my life is the one I use for henna. And it's also orange. Coincidence? I don't think so. If you haven't seen henna before, it's a green powder and it smells like grass. I have made a homemade henna glove because after years of using henna, I still don't have a henna dye glove. Oh, wow. She got beauty, she got style. At this point, it does not only smell like grass, but it also looks like cow poop. The massaging class is now over, and this is what I would look like as a brunette, pretty much. So now I'm going to put plastic back, trash back. Wow, thank God I used a glove. I'm going to let that sit for half an hour. While I wait, I'm going to clean myself and save my bathroom. I have another 15 minutes before I'm going to rinse out the dye. So let's take the next question of the day. What about your character are you most proud of, and what would you like to work on within yourself? This is such a big, good question. So I took some time to just think while I cleaned the bathroom. And I made it to the conclusion that I think my biggest strengths are also my biggest weaknesses. I am very independent. That's one of the things that I would like to work on. I'm very independent, but at times it's been too much. So after I met my boyfriend, I've been trying to practice asking for help. Instead, I have previously just done everything myself and just like not reached out for a helping hand. So that is one thing that I both see as one of my biggest strengths, but it's also one of my biggest weaknesses. Another one is my work ethic. I'm very hardworking. but it's also one of my biggest weaknesses because I struggle to take time off. I struggle to say, I didn't make it through my to-do list. It's okay, it doesn't matter, it will be fine. Yeah, the fact that I'm going away for a week, it was not my plan to go away for a week, it was my plan to go away for 3 days. And then when we scheduled or booked this trip, my boyfriend was like, normal people take 1 week off, so we are going to take 1 week off, and he is so right. So that is another thing that I struggle with, is like finding peace in not making it through a to-do list and not getting things ticked off. Yeah, that was a really good question. I'm so afraid that I will come up with something later on and be like, that was a good answer. Like this freshly dyed carrot shade, so vibrant and beautiful. It's such a shame that the more you dye with henna, the darker your hair is gonna get. So the roots are so light and beautiful and orange, and some of the back is getting more and more brown. Such a shame. I need another chair. I shall not cut my hair in this one. It will be less comfortable. The practical choice. It's also covered in fabric. But it's time for a haircut. Gotta get a bit closer to my mirror. If any of you are actual hairdressers, please don't freak out. Already looks better. My hair is curly and it has a lot of different length to it, so I'm not really afraid of doing some cutting myself and just making sure that the tips are fresh. At least I've been doing that for like years and it works for me, so. To just test my multitasking skills, I'm going to answer a question while I'm cutting my hair. How did you meet your boyfriend? Was it an instant connection? Because there are 2 people involved in that story, I'm going to be a little bit careful with the information I give you, but I think it's okay to say that we met on Tinder. And it was my boyfriend's very first Tinder date, and if you've been around for some time, you'll know that it was not my first one. But yeah, it was Tinder. We had been chatting for a week's time. To me, we had been chatting a lot. To my boyfriend, he felt like we were meeting up quite fast, but I've never been a big texter. I always just prefer meeting up, seeing if there is a connection, if there's something there. This feels dry. I struggle with multitasking, so I'm just going to focus on the question. Was it an instant connection? I don't know exactly what you put into those words. To me, I don't think of it as an instant connection. Obviously, there was something there. He had a look in his eyes that I really liked. He looked so sweet and genuine, and I was interested in seeing him again. And it was a good first date, but I was not blown away. It was not firework. It was not love at first sight. I am not that person, and it's not something I experience, but there was definitely something there. I can't speak for my boyfriend, but to me it was definitely like I felt attracted to him and I saw something in his eyes, and then it was a build up from there, getting to know him, seeing his amazing values and how extremely kind of a person he is. It was like everything that I learned after, like through dating him multiple times, that made me like fall in love with him. Yeah, I think that like movie instant connection, firework feeling type of first meeting, I don't think it's very realistic, and I don't think it's that those relationships that will lead to something strong and long lasting. I remember as a teenager I thought that liking someone would have to be this like huge feeling of being scared and anxious, and I think getting older I know that that's not signs of health. It's not signs of your system knowing and believing that you can trust this person and you know where you have them. So yeah, it's been very healthy, and he's definitely a good one. He's a keeper. Hey Elise, you don't have to answer this question. Do you miss and or regret selling the cottage? It was so beautiful and cozy. Thank you so much. It was amazing. I loved my cottage, but I have barely thought about it since I moved here. Since buying this house and moving here, it's like the cottage has just like, there's been so much, and there's been so many projects and so much to do in this house that I have actually not thought about the cottage. I think in some ways I've thought about this house as an next level cottage. Like this is just an even bigger playground with even more things to do. I do miss how quiet it was around the cottage at times, but seriously, like having this house, running a business on my own, I would have zero time to go to the garden or the cottage. And with all of that being said, when I see pictures from back in the cottage, I do smile. I have so many amazing memories from there, and yeah, I feel really grateful that that got to be the stepping stone to buying my house and a test of what that could look like in a mini version. But when I bought my house, I just felt so like grateful that I could buy my house. Maybe I should say this again because there's been a lot of confusion about it, but the cottage is an allotment garden, so you're not allowed to live there, and that definitely made some like limits to how I could use it, and like future wise it made more sense to put effort into finding a home instead of, you know, keep working on the cottage, the allotment garden. Last of all, I'm going to add some moisture. My hair is ready for Paris. I leave for Paris, there's one thing that's very important for me to do, and that is getting a group picture of all of the tulips I have in my garden. So I decided to make a sunbright outfit with a lot of jewelry, and then the finished look. And I hope to recreate a picture I took of my tulips last year. It ended up being so dear to me that I painted it and turned it into a postcard, which you can still find on the web shop. I think I still have it in stock. So the sun just came back out. Perfect timing. My tulip bouquet of 2025. I am so happy I found time to do this before leaving for Paris. These were all of the tulips that were photogenic enough to go into this year's bouquet. And I mean, some of them were a very close call. It was last chance for many of the tulips. These are the ones that I have planted since last year. This one is new, this pink one, and also this warm pinky orange tulip, and these ones. There is another important thing that needs to be done before leaving for Paris, and that is emptying the fridge. And I have bananas, so I'm of course going to make not banana pancakes, but a banana bread. 1 teaspoon baking powder, 2 teaspoons vanilla sugar. I prefer using 3 bananas, but I only had 2. 170 grams of sugar and 3 eggs. $125 grams of flour, just set a timer for 25 minutes. And the next question of the day is, I was wondering if since your dream house fell through, if you've been looking for a new studio space, especially since the construction will take so long and it's affecting your ability to park and everything. We are still house hunting, and today I thought it would be fun to take you through the different houses that we have been interested in, viewed, and also the house that we considered buying, or dream house. I'm going to put links down below. So first and foremost, to answer your question, I'm not looking for a studio space. I am looking for a future house where I can bring my studio to. I did show you the mill back when we did the viewing. Since then it's been sold. I would have loved to put in another link, but it looks like they have finally found the buyer, the perfect buyer, which was not us. It was a massive project. At the first viewing we just knew that that was never going to happen. It was also very close to the highway, so it was just a big no for us. The next place that we looked at, we didn't get a viewing, we just drove by and concluded that it was too much work. It is the house in Hesselager. I'm going to put a link down below. It's a beautiful old house with so many details, like big, beautiful windows, but it's gonna take so much work. There were two main things that made us realize that this was not a house for us. First and foremost, the location felt really far away from our day-to-day lives. And secondly, this house made us realize that we are not interested in a massive renovation. We need somewhere we can live, where there are projects and things that we need to do, but we are not up for the task of renovating a house from A to Z. And that is what this house taught us, even though it's so beautiful. Then we found a house that challenged what we have thought we wanted in terms of location. We have talked a lot about the countryside, but this house happened to be located inside a small town with neighbors close by. And again, we are talking about a big, beautiful house with so much charm and history. And it was also a place where we could see space for my studio. It didn't already have a fixed solution, but the house was so big that we could see some different ways of like doing it. But the house ended up being, again, like too big of a project. And I think I also slowly realized that the neighbors for me were too close. It just felt like I wasn't getting the space and the air that I long for. And there was also a lot of construction planned in the area, both plumbing and also the heating system and solutions. So you were looking into 3 years of construction in the area, and you also had a house that needed a new roof, insulation, all of the windows taken out and fixed up. It was just a big project, and we ended up just concluding that it did not feel right. Even with all of the things that needed to be done, the neighbor house was just so close, and it just felt like it was getting closer every time we did a viewing. But it was a tiny heartbreak, but not as big of a heartbreak as the house we found in Ryslinge, or dream house. If we came with a big wallet and no concerns in terms of finances, I would have. Then again, I probably wouldn't have bought it. That's the crazy thing, because this house was also, I think it blew me over that we were able to afford something like that. We did have to make like a pretty tight budget and plan out many years ahead and hope that things were going to turn out good. The house itself was bigger than we need and wish for, but the fact that it came with a beautiful greenhouse, like so beautiful, and it also came with an external building where I could have my studio. It was currently just a pool house. Crazy, like really crazy, a massive pool, so deep. But we would turn that into my studio space. So the house just had so many beautiful features. It was old. We loved how it was renovated. And I could just imagine that like studio space with open doors out into the garden in the summertime. It was just mind-blowing to me that it was possible. But yeah, reality hit us. It turned out that the price tag was not negotiable. The entire roof had to be replaced, and we are talking 1 million Danish kroner if we did that ourselves. So crazy. The price was not possible to negotiate. It was a fixed price. There was nothing to do. And there was also a factory in the backyard, and we could actually hear, it was like not loud or noisy, but it was like that, like it was a ventilation system that you could hear in the background. And it worried me a lot because, again, I want to move to what I don't have here, and that is silence. I want the feeling of being on the countryside where you can hear birds and nature, and that like summing, that sound in the background. It also got like higher and higher every time we viewed the house, and I think it was also my body telling me that it was not the perfect house. So we're still looking for the perfect property. We have actually viewed a house twice now. It is the most amazing location. Again, it's such a puzzle to figure out what we value the most. I think with some of the properties we've been looking at, it's been a matter of us loving the house and feeling like blown away by the house, where this time it is blown away by nature and the location. I'm not going to put a link into the house we are currently interested in. It feels slightly different. It's also an old house. It still has a lot of charm, but it's not as magnificent and like big as some of the other houses we have viewed. It feels good, and I will keep you updated. I think we just learned a little bit from the last house situation. It was a little bit of a like, ouch. So we don't want to get our hopes up too high or like start dreaming too much. Yeah, we're protecting ourselves a little, but it's really amazing. This would make sense to answer now. Are you still looking for houses? Do you plan another renovation of your house, like bathroom, installing a fireplace, etc.? How do you keep in such a good shape? Okay, 2 different questions. We're still looking for a house. I'm not going to renovate more in this house. It would not make sense financially. When you renovate a bathroom or kitchen in your house, you close to never get that money back. People always want kitchens and bathrooms in another way than you renovate them. So I am not going to put any more money into this house. So it's going to be like small makeover cosmetic projects. And how do you keep in such a good shape? I don't know if I don't think of myself as being in particularly good shape. I really don't. But thank you. I don't know, because it's not like, yeah, I don't know. Sorry. Last one before the cake is done. Would love to know if you plan on bringing any pets into your life, a kitty, a rabbit, etc. We would love to get a cat. We have already talked about what a good cat name would be. So we definitely would love to get a cat when we move to a bigger house that's not located up against big roads. I do not want to get a cat here. So yeah, we dream of a cat, and it's going to be one of the first things that we're going to do when we find a dream house and we move. Is probably going to be to adopt a cat. Yep. We have so many like dreams and things that we talk about when we find that lovely house. But that being said, I really like my current house. We're not under any time pressure. Obviously, it's been a little bit hard for me to feel like I can't, like my studio space is not working anymore, and it does put some stress on me that time is running out. but at the same time I don't want that to affect us taking the time that we need to find the right house, because what we're looking at is not what I looked at when I found my current home. It was what would be a nice place to be for the next top 5 years, and a place where I could see myself like living alone. Now when I have my boyfriend, we are thinking bigger and we're dreaming bigger, and I've just gone back to the dream I had. I've always wanted to live on the countryside and have space and a place where you can see lots of sky. When I look outside my house, there is like buildings or like, I don't know what it is, but I'm just back to dreaming about the countryside. At times it's just getting mixed up a bit and people think that I'm unhappy living here. We are definitely not unhappy here. We like this house, so we're not going to move for just anything. We're going to move when we find the right place where we can see ourselves the next many years, and we can see ourselves getting our cat and everything. Yeah, so just wanted to clear that up. Good morning, guys. Just 24 hours until we're going to leave for Paris, and there is a lot on my plate today. I'm sorry if I seem a bit distant, but it's time to get packing done. I have hung up some dresses that I think of bringing with me to Paris. We have some that would be good for like a romantic dinner. 70s maxi dress, also a vintage dress. This one that I feel is very French. An 80s floral dress, the one that I found thrifting not that long ago. Another stunning 70s maxi, very romantic. Why am I doing this? This thrift find, and then my own design. But I don't think I should bring every single one of them, so I kind of have to make some decisions. I've had many questions regarding my shoe situation. I ended up getting myself a pair of Adidas in beige. I also think of bringing these for a very warm day. We are supposed to get summer weather between 20 degrees and 26, so that's really good. And I have 3 skirts I need to decide between. And the red one. These are the dresses I won't be bringing, and this is going to be my travel outfit. Linen trousers, a linen jacket. Besides from toiletry and makeup, I am now packed and ready for Paris. We've even bought travel snacks. So now I just have a business to partly close down. The web shop is still going to be open while I'm away, but I won't be shipping out any orders until I'm back. by the time that you watch this video, it's actually going to be my birthday. It's so strange, like filming so many days ahead. I'm not used to that. But there is a lot of work to finish before I can leave tomorrow morning. I'm really looking forward to it. It's going to be so lovely to take a week off, recharge my batteries, celebrate my birthday, and yeah. So thank you so much for watching this week, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video despite it being very chatty. I thought I was going to manage to answer more questions than I did, but the video is already so long. If you've watched until now, you are quite amazing. Thank you so much. There won't be a new collection coming this week. I've not had more time. Like, managing 2 videos in a week and just 1 collection has been enough. So if you enjoyed this video, then please leave a thumbs up, and thank you so much for all of your questions. I am going to see you when I'm back from Paris. I will probably post a little bit on Instagram, but we'll see. Can't wait. Yeah, I'll see you soon, guys.